Shedeur to the Browns. News came out. I don't know if this is really news, but it's kind of blown up all over social media that Shedeur Sanders says he only plays with the Browns on Madden. And Matt, before we dive into this, I got to show the clip so we can get some context. Here's Shedeur talking about him only using the Browns on Madden. Take a look.
I don't even play Madden. I haven't played Madden.
You know who I play with.
Yeah, I can play with anybody though. He can only play with one team.
What team?
Brown.
Okay.
That's the only team.
Okay. I like how they
getting ready.
I like how they move around, bro.
That's the only team he can play with.
That boy getting ready.
Anybody else is trash.
Matt, the internet has lost their minds over this, but I got to ask you, the Browns hold the number 2 overall pick, and the Titans have stated they want to draft a generational talent, which seems to leave it open. Travis Hunter or Bill Carter. Do you think the Browns would be a good option for Shedeur at 2? And what are your thoughts on this whole Shedeur only choosing the Browns at Madden thing?
Jeez, please, Jesus, don't let this happen. Please, God, don't go to Cleveland, Shedeur. Although, if he does go there and turns it around and makes them win, and all of a sudden Cleveland's in the playoff last year like Washington was this year, then you never know. Look, bro, they've got a good offensive line. Myles Garrett is out, so I don't really think the defense will be what it has been.
I think, actually, before you say that, I think in order for them to trade Myles Garrett, there's like some crazy caps. They have a crazy cap situation. I know the NFL just raised the salary cap today by like $20-something million. But I know they have to go through a lot of hurdles to trade him. So I could see Garrett still being on the roster potentially. But keep going.
He's getting traded.
He's getting traded.
He's not going to come out and say, he's not like some backup that's like, hey, will you trade me so I can play? He's the premier defensive end in football pretty much every year. So if he wants to get traded, he will. They'll figure it out. I mean, there's teams out there with a lot of salary cap flexibility. So I don't know. Look, if Shedeur goes to Cleveland and turns it around, I'll be shocked because, I mean, they haven't had they picked Baker number 1, and then this is my problem with Cleveland. Number 1, it's not really the Browns. The Browns are in Baltimore.
Right. Yeah.
That franchise that's the Baltimore Ravens franchise is built on the backs of the Cleveland Browns, period. So they can fabricate this rivalry like Cleveland, they hate Baltimore. Yeah, they may, but no one in Baltimore gives a shit about Cleveland because the new Cleveland Browns are a mockery of what they used to be. So that's number 1. Number 2, they don't treat their quarterbacks correctly. Like they either overdraft guys, and they're constantly doing it. I mean, off the top of my head, Manziel was overdrafted. Brandon Weeden was overdrafted. Fucking how many other Tim Couch was overdrafted? Like they constantly do this. Draft first-round quarterbacks, and they're terrible. And then they finally draft a quarterback number 1 in Baker Mayfield, who totally turns around the whole franchise, has real swag, is on a bunch of commercials. La, 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 la. They go win a fucking playoff game in Pittsburgh, for God's sakes, against a team that was 11-0 at one point that season. They go to Kansas City, and with the exception of a couple of calls, probably could have won that game too. And then instead of extending Baker Mayfield, which I don't even know if they could at that point, they just get rid of his ass for Captain Rub and Tug Deshaun Watson.
Right.
If Deshaun's going to be in the room, I do not want Shedeur anywhere fucking near him. Let me be frank. If Deshaun Watson is in the quarterback room in Cleveland, please do not draft Shedeur Sanders. I don't want him to talk to him. I don't want him to hang out. I don't want him to get lunch. Nothing. I definitely don't want him to go to a massage parlor together. I don't want any of this. Like I don't even want the fucking opportunity to do it.
I hear where you're going.
Deshaun Watson's still on the roster. Do not pick Shedeur Sanders, please, Cleveland. And then also, if I'm Shedeur, I don't know if I believe this. You may play with Cleveland on Madden, but bro, don't bullshit us. You don't want to fucking play in Cleveland. Nobody wants to actually go to the mistake by the lake. No one. No one. It's a place where good football players go to die. And everyone knows that shit. So, dog, I'm telling you, if this is, please, God, don't draft Shedeur Sanders. Please. Just take Abdul Carter after the Titans take fucking Travis Hunter, and then let's roll. And then he can go to the Giants or wherever he's going to go.
Man, oh, wow. Let me ask you this, coming from the Browns' perspective, because this whole he plays with them on that, they could very well be just all show, right, or all whatever. But Deshaun Watson, we forget he's going to be out all of next year. Like, he's done. Like, I don't. He already wasn't around the building. I don't know 100%, but it seems like he wasn't around the building last season when he was hurt, and he was making TikTok videos with his girlfriend and shit. Like, would that change the way you feel at all if Deshaun's out? No.
No, because then what? Deshaun comes back and he's on guaranteed contract, and Cleveland's fucking stupid and keeps him around, and then Shedeur has to fucking go and after starting for a year has to compete with old Rub and Tug. Nah, dog. It either get rid of Deshaun and figure it out and eat the money that you recklessly spent, or keep Deshaun and just fucking play whoever and suck again. I mean, it's not like Cleveland's going to be any good. Myles Garrett can read the writing on the wall. It's a goddamn train wreck. I can't believe that Dion hasn't come out and squashed this already. How many times do we hear Coach Prime say that if he's not going to let his kids go to a bad situation? Shiloh's not going to have an option. Shiloh's going to go where he goes. Shedeur has an option. So I would be using my John Elway, Eli Manning, now Shedeur Sanders powers to negotiate and navigate where I want to go in the NFL, because so much of this is fit, and Cleveland is not it. It's just not. It's not fucking it. Who's Cleveland's awesome receivers? They just traded Amari Cooper, and Woke is a good tight end.
Joku. I don't know if Elijah Moore's still on the roster. He might be a free agent, but
he's a guy,
right?
I mean, their offensive line's good. I would say Nick Chubb is a stud, but he's always hurt too, and that's not a knock. It's just the truth. So no, please God, don't draft Shedeur. God damn it! I don't even like that we're starting the show with this. This is like the worst possible. I think it would be the worst possible place.
Wow.
Now, that said, again, and I'll reiterate, if he goes there and turns it around, it's like it's a Jaden Daniels monster truck.
Right, yeah.
I thought the Commanders, the Redskins, however you want to refer to them.
Redskins, yeah.
Redskins, I prefer that. I thought that was Jaden's going to struggle. They're terrible, and all of a sudden they're in the NFC title game. So,
right, yeah.
Prove people wrong. That's kind of the fucking point of this entire game.
Yeah, absolutely. And Shedeur would be a hero in that city if he went on to lead the Browns to playoffs, winning record, any sort of light and hope in that city. I think he would be revered. Now, Matt, let me ask you. You mentioned Cleveland. You think it's a bad situation, and you think
every time they go to the playoffs, they get rid of the guy that brought him there. Baker took him, won, got rid of him. Flacco took him when they lost, got rid of him. I know he's old, but then who they even play this year? Who the fucking guy from UCLA? He's terrible.
And Jameis Winston also played this year as a free agent. Sean King is big on Jameis Winston. We talked about that on JB show.
Everybody just likes Jameis. It's not because he can still play at an elite level.
Matt, I have a question in terms of worst scenarios. You said you wouldn't want Shedeur to go to the Browns. Who else do you put in that category? Do you put the Jets in that category? Who else is a situation?
No, look, the Browns are the only place I don't want him to go. After that, Giants, whatever, Raiders, whatever, Jets, whatever, Panthers won't draft the quarterback. If the Titans don't take one of the two quarterbacks, they're rolling with old mayonnaise again. I mean, okay, but you're just setting up your coaching staff to get fired. If they draft the quarterback, it extends the coaching staff at least another year or two,
right?
As you're trying to develop. And again, let's talk about fit. Tennessee is in the god-awful AFC South, which never, ever, unless Peyton Manning's playing for Indianapolis, provides any kind of fucking like real playoff competition. Houston wins the South every year and they get blown out like Kansas City or wherever they go every fucking year. Last year they got their ass kicked by the Ravens. This year they got their ass kicked by the Chiefs. 2 years ago it was the Chiefs. Like, you know, that's a terrible division. So if he goes to Tennessee and they had the kid last year they drafted from Alabama at tackle, and they got all this young depth and speed, Calvin Ridley and all these cats, and you got the Callahan family there running things.
Bill and Brian, yeah,
that's a good fit to me. I don't know why Tennessee wouldn't want to do that. And Tennessee's also, and let's be real, been a mecca, and the Houston organization, because again, the Titans are the Oilers. Let's just be real. The Houston organization and the everyone behind that's now in Tennessee has been a mecca for the black quarterback.
Yeah.
From Warren Moon to fucking Steve McNair to Vince Young to now Shedeur Sanders, hopefully. So, or Cam Ward. So I think that they need to really look at that too and like understand if they want a generational talent. I don't know why generational talent excludes the two quarterbacks.
Yeah,
like
why
the defensive end and the quarterback are the only two that are generational talents.
I thought it was an interesting statement to say.
Also, keep this in mind. All the scouts and people that are sitting around like, oh, this is a thing. It's going to happen. They don't know shit. They don't fucking know how these kids are going to acclimate to the NFL. You don't know if they're going to come in and be able to handle the stress of it. You just don't know. You don't know. You have no, especially at quarterback. It is a crapshoot. You can put all these guys through as many fucking T-shirt workouts as you want. We had T-shirt 30 this morning in the gym at 5 a.m. Half of it was awesome. Half of it was absolute dog shit. So, and a lot of the good players in the room struggle. And sometimes that's what happens when you get to the NFL. A lot of really good players struggle. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. But I don't know. If I'm Shedeur, I want to go number one, and I'd much rather go to Tennessee than Cleveland. Fuck.
Matt, I'm with you. I think Tennessee is by far the better fit, but, it is what it is.
Please, God, don't go to Cleveland. Let's Prime.
Well,
let's Prime. Please intervene.
Yeah, intervene. Amen to that.